that was one of the big things that NFSC did is, you defined that axis of evil between the CCP, Russia, and Iran. How did this become a whistleblowing endeavor? Tell us where you are with everything now, and what are you looking to do in the future?
应该是我们新中国联邦最早是在这个媒体上，大概在今年的7、8月份，我们提出来了新的邪恶轴心国的建立，形成了。轴心国，大家可以马上会想到二战时候的轴心国，德国、日本和意大利这3个主要的国家。那么现在对应的是中国、俄罗斯是伊朗。那我们重点就是来讲中共国 CCP， 它今天所做的事情跟二战时候的德国有多么相似。德国应该是在一战以后，1919年以后签署了凡尔赛条约，但是很快它是撕毁了，而且不断的扩军扩张，而且去侵略周边的国家。但是英国、法国和美国都保持了绥靖中立政策。今天的美国和欧洲和中共的关系，就像当年的美国、英国、法国对德国的关系，都是采取一种绥靖政策，允许他对西方的渗透，伤害西方的老百姓，甚至中国的老百姓，就像当年是一模一样。德国在二战前，它的经济来源主要靠的是美国的贷款。法国希望德国强大以后对付苏联，英国希望德国强大以后对抗法国。今天中共国 CCP 的强大主要是来自于美国的经济和技术支持。华尔街给中共输送了数以万亿计的财富给他们，用于军事，用于迫害中国的老百姓，用于对西方的侵蚀。所以是美国、英国、法国这几个主要国家培养了法西斯希特勒，今天是美国和欧洲培养了一个法西斯的习中国。所以这就是我的解释，为什么今天邪恶轴心国已经建成，而且已经走到我们的家门口，气球已经飞到你们的门口，已经杀人到你们可能很多人都有亲人因为 COVID 已经去世了，很多人吃了芬太尼去世了，而且是年轻人。
So I know we have a very important topic today because we know a lot of people does not link the CCP with the war that's happening in Israel and with what's happening in the United States.So we're going to fill that void and make that connection. So Joshua, you start. How do you fill that void?
When I first saw the terror attacks on Israel, my first reaction was this. The method that Hamas used to attack Israel, flying in on these paratroopers, that was the North Korean tactic of invading South Korea. That was revealed back in 2017. And the reason that the North Koreans were planning that was because that method of attack, as was reported back in 2017, was that it bypasses the radar systems. We knew that that was the method. And then I thought, okay, what else is going on? Well, it turns out the Chinese Communist Party, Xi Jinping himself, was meeting with the head of the Palestinian Authority right before it happened. And then we find out the guns came from North Korea. And guess what? The 2 biggest arms traffickers in the Middle East, including in Iran, are North Korean. And so North Korea is the big faction there. We know North Korea is behind a lot of this stuff. We know that there's, ties to it. And then we know what else? That China, of course, puppeteers North Korea. North Korea is a puppet state. That's all they are. And so I'm wondering, what is the CCP's goal? Well, my theory is this, is because the CCP wants to have a trade route going through Palestine, and they want that route. And so they're meeting with the Palestinian Authority right before this. Yes. What happens? Palestinian authorities from PLO, People's Liberation Organization, which was a front group tied to both the Soviets and the Chinese Communist Party. Yes. And they know they can reestablish that, they control the region.
Could you share your experience with us?
Yeah, so I have been to China a couple of times now. My very first experience was completely different for me because I have heard of stories about visiting inland China, but I had only had experience with like Hong Kong and Shanghai previously for my trip. And this trip that I had taken, I was doing marketing and I was coming to meet some friends. We were going to Nembao. And being here from the Midwest in the United States, we have freedom of travel, we have freedom of religion, and we're free to have things whenever we travel. I didn't understand that whenever I went to China that it wasn't appropriate to have a Bible with me. And I'm always carrying my Bible with me anywhere I go because I'm a very faith-based person. And I just wanted that extra protection with me. And so when I went to China, I made it through to the security of the airport when I landed. And as soon as I landed, I was met by 3 security guards who walked me off of the terminal area right there, and they searched all of my bags, dumped out my suitcases in front of everybody, started throwing my things everywhere, and started yelling at me. And they called me a missionary. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What happened? Like, what did I do? And they found my Bible and they said, no, you cannot have this. And they asked and they thought that I was there to be a Bible salesman or something. And so it was really scary. And I was like, oh, no, I didn't know. So my friend who I had came there to visit, he informed me that you're not allowed to have Bibles in China, and that the president declares it says that there is no God, that he is God. And I had never heard of anything like that, and I had never experienced where I felt like my religion or who I was something to be afraid of. And it made me really sad to know that people live in a place where they can't express and feel gratitude and feel that they can talk to God wherever they are, or carry their book of their religion or their faith freely without feeling like they're going to be in trouble or they're going to have somebody come and arrest them. And so it was a very different experience for me, and I didn't last that long in China, I'll tell you that. I was in and out about 13 hours.
Now I work for the last 5 years with Real America's Voice News, exposing it, going all over the world, down into Panama, South America, into Colombia, Mexico, Central America, showing the roots of this, because this is not an accident what's happening. This is policy driven by communists in America that want to destroy this country from within, who realize that not only do you have to steal the elections, but what helps is by having a country that no longer has borders. And so they are flooding this country with illegal aliens. We are paying for it. American taxpayers, our grant money, our federal dollars are going to facilitate this. We're enriching the cartels. We're enriching these communist organizations at the same time. And we're enriching our enemies abroad, like the Chinese Communist Party, who are sending their fentanyl, sending their spies. Now last month we had 2,000 illegal aliens from China. Some of those escaping the CCP, some of those being sent by the CCP. It's just an absolute disaster on top of the terrorists and everything else that's coming across. The CCP, who's trying to infiltrate our government. You have politicians in America who are corrupted by them and by the cartels as well. One of the things we have to keep in mind, Mexico is basically a failed narco state controlled by the cartels who are in bed with the CCP. They get their precursors for fentanyl from the CCP, and they don't care. The cartel doesn't care as long as they're getting money. They don't care where it's coming from. All of that is everything that we see going on with the policies coming out of Washington, D.C., making our borders more porous, bringing in fake asylum seekers, enriching these NGOs, non-governmental organizations that pretend to care, that are inviting in people from all over the world. We're taking our Border Patrol resources off the line, and we're processing these people. All that's doing is opening the door for really bad actors to come in. And the Chinese Communist Party is exploiting that every single day.
Well, I've been a supporter of freeing China. Started writing about it about 1998. And they're up to date, and I'm on page 750 on a new book.
So how do you know what motivates you to write this book? So this book, right?
Well, yeah, this one is how Make Red China Pay.
Okay.
And this one talks about 1 million Americans murdered and counting from the coronavirus and the fentanyl.
Okay.
All intentional.
So for the first book, so what motivates you to write the first book?
Well, the first book was Gore and Clinton and the Chinese funding, communist funding of the Clinton campaign for president. And so I had quite a bit of information on that. I was always involved in American politics. So.
Well, so do you think the American is repeating its history of what's happening right now?
Oh, it's far worse.
Far worse.
Today.
Yeah.
In those days, you might have had, several hundred people that were sympathetic or collaborators.
Yeah.
And now there's a minimum of 100,000 Americans who are siding with the CCP.
Okay.
And various, from Harvard on down to, well, your local elected official. Survival of America and Western civilization depends upon the end of the CCP.
Yes. So what are the solutions? What things could be done in order to do that? To get rid of
do that is what you guys are up to. I'm involved with a group called Red Star Rising, made of military officers and professors, and we deal with it every day. We follow the Chinese press, we follow the world press on what's going on in China. So we know the latest lies, promises, and threats.
Yes, that's why we definitely need more people like you in America to keep revealing the truth and exposing them, and also to spread the truth from people to people, that in order to take down Chinese Communist Party. And that's also one of the things that we're doing right now. That's the one of the mission, to able to save Americans, also to save the Chinese people that's suffering.
Well, America owes you for fighting the CCP at home and here.